And welcome back to Lantern Corps videos. This one comes to us from me or something who asked the question, what is the Lantern Corps of SCP-999? The Tickle monster. This guy is so adorable. In essence, what this is a sentient goo that feeds primarily on sugar and is just a love machine. All it wants to do is make people happy, be happy with them, and they'll cuddle up like an animal to them, and eventually kind of grab you up and goo and say tickle and just tickle you until you're happy. To the point where sometimes it won't stop, but it's never hurt anyone. There have been some injuries, but it's never killed anyone, and it feels bad when it does, accidentally hurt someone and immediately wants to try to make up for it. This is an SCP that can actually quell SCP to some degree. SCP-682. What's 682? 686? No, it's 682. The unkillable reptile who literally just can't die and just hates all life. This thing quelled it at one point. Didn't beat it, but it quelled it. So, does this thing have any sentience worth qualifying for a Lantern Ring? Well, for the sake of this video, we're going to say yes. Right out the gate, though, we got to get a couple of these right out of the way. It is not a yellow lantern of fear, for obvious reasons. It's also not a red lantern of rage, for obvious reasons. It is not a green or orange lantern of greed, for obvious reasons. And it's not a black death lantern, for obvious reasons. So, what else do we have here? Well, why don't I actually I'm actually going to get the other two out of the way right now. I don't think this is a green lantern. It doesn't have to overcome great fear because it just doesn't fear anything. It also doesn't really have willpower per se. I mean, it seems to have a level of sentience, just not a high level of it. So will, obviously, I don't think a good candidate for this. It also, though, has a lot of compassion. You can make an argument that compassion could be a very strong Lantern Corps for it. Now that I say it, it's very possible. I probably should have put it on the list. But I would say that it's not even that it's compassion. It just loves. It loves. Which brings us to our first contender here, Star Sapphires. And I just got rid of myself. There we go. Star Sapphires. Look, this thing just loves. It loves. And it wants to love and it wants to tickle you and make you happy. And look, that is a legitimate motivator. I think there's an argument to be made for love. Just like compassion, though. There's an argument to be made for it. I think this thing just loves to love and live and everything like that, that a white lantern ring might also have to be considered. This thing is an embodiment of pure love and happiness. So I think white has to be under the consideration. And there's hope. And there's hope. Because this thing, a lot of the scientists and, personnel and the SCP Foundation actually have a lot of hope in this thing. Like, this thing might be able to quell a lot of the more angered individuals of the SCPs. And, like, for instance, 682. So I think hope's got to be under the equation. So, do I think it's love? Do I think it's love, hope, or life? Or compassion? Well, in theory, any of these could work, but I'm going to throw out a black sheep, or in this case, a gold sheep. That's right. I have officially indoctrinated into the series, as I once did the ultraviolet lanterns of allegedly shame. We're talking about the gold lanterns of happiness. Because the qualification to be a gold lantern, we actually don't know much about the gold lanterns apart from what the qualifications are. You need to be and have known happiness pretty much throughout your entire life. That's what you need to be a gold lantern. And that's exactly what SCP-999 Tickle Monster is. It is pure joy and happiness. This thing, for some reason, only seems to know that. So, if you want to talk about it, the gold lanterns are such a hard, even ultraviolets are easier to do than the gold lanterns, because a lot of people feel extreme shame at some point in their lives. A lot of characters have. But can you, off the top of your head, think of maybe 5 characters outside of this guy, obviously, and the current gold lanterns that actually qualify as someone who have basically experienced nothing but happiness and joy their entire lives? I argue no. So, it's one of the only times I think I can ever be able to use a gold lantern here. So my final decision is gold. Now, if I were to do the follow-ups, I'd say Star Sapphire. I think that'd be the next good likely candidate. I think life, honestly, and then hope, And then I think I'd follow up with compassion. And honestly, and maybe even have compassion over hope, honestly. I think all of those are reasonable suggestions. It's just that the Gold Lantern ring ended up coming up towards SCP-999, and 999 was being capable of acquiring it, then it would go towards SCP-999. It would go toward a Tickle monster. So I choose Gold Lantern for this character. He's maybe the only Gold Lantern I ever do, but who knows? Until then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.